tonight we're going to be discussing some hints, tips, tricks, and anything to do with the Apocalypse raid, really. So I'm joined by the lovely Riggy Pig, and we've got Crazy Girl. She'll be hovering in and out in the background. We've got Tyler. I've got a hole in my ceiling. We've
No,
got
it's all
the
fixed. It's
chosen
all
one.
fixed.
Oh, he's fixed it.
What's it?
We've got Scotty Too Hotty, aka the chosen one,
What's up,
and
guys?
we've also got a couple of people going to join in. Guys, apologies, the YouTube link is now up and correct on the crib, so apologies for all those sat on the old one. So let's go into the raid. So guys, first of all, I think first thing to discuss is they said they'd make it easier for everyone. General consensus on the forums says otherwise. Let's start. I think, Tyler, you're a good starting point because you're the non-coining player. Let's get. How do you find it, mate? How are you finding the raid?
I mean, the last couple of raids, I'll be honest, I haven't really put my all in, mostly because I could see I weren't going to get anywhere. I had a bit of time spare this week, and I'm on 10.5 million points day in. This raid's definitely been a lot easier. I mean, I know we'll go through it during the show, but I've got a few good tips I've used for this one that are working quite well. I've definitely found this one a hell of a lot easier. So yeah.
So what is it? Cool. Riggy Pig?
Yeah, actually, I found this raid a lot easier, and I took advantage of the fleets that Kixeye put out with reduced repairs. So I've been using my Hellhounds on, excuse me, elites, going with elites, taking out the towers on the base, and then taking in my atlases, which also have that special for repairs, and taking out the fleet guard and stuff, which is, you know, still kind of learning something that would make it easier there, but I'm definitely taking full advantage of those reduced costs for sure. It's actually surprisingly easier.
So general consensus for you, it's easier than the previous ones.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. And the thing I really appreciate, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there that appreciate this too, is they'll take advantage of the half repair time. I like to get my raids done as soon as I can, and then go out and start smashing bases as quickly as possible.
That's because you're a hacker, but anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Scotty, do you find it easier? Harder?
Yeah, I found it a lot easier. I mean, I tested out a few different things to start. I mean, I tested out the siege to start with, just testing out a few little things in my Mastodon plane, and I've done most. I mean, I've done most of mine the same way Rig did. You know, I took advantage of the Grim Atlases because I ain't got Harlock. I didn't have Harlocks when I built mine, and I've been using the Hellhounds as well that I've got. So I've been going into the elites, taking out the fleets with the Grim Atlas, and then hitting the actual base itself with my my mortar hells, and it's about 20 coin with a grease monkeys.
Man. Dave, how you finding it, bud?
Alright, it's a bit, depending what target you went for, it was a bit easier. The problem was you just couldn't sub anything. That's the problem I had.
You can, Dave.
You can on
You can. You just got to be careful.
I've got 88% cloak on my hawks, and I've got siege torp, so
That's your issue.
Yeah, you can't with siege torps. With spectres and assault bees, I've been subbing out bits. We might as well go for it now. Obviously, I think it was Hercules from BOPB told me this in like a couple of hours into the raid. If you stop your ships, so as they go in, it's pretty much general knowledge that you fire a little bit before where the computer would normally stop you. So if you stop when you first start firing, you can actually sub out anything with sonar. Just can't get the ships with thermal. So yeah, that was my first major tip. You can do that this raid, which is quite handy. I'm doing mine with assault bees, and I've got Cat 3 and 3 times 2 D. No, 3 lots of D2S, and yeah, I'm subbing out anything without thermal, which is quite handy.
Yeah, because I mean, I refit my Nighthawks with bees because I had these. I wanted to test it, and then, you know, what Tyler said, you know, if you stop it a little bit before, just it starts firing, you can actually take out all the sonar ships.
Sorry, guys, talking on bloody silent then. Cool. Oh, David's gone. We've upset him. Cool. So, oh, he's back. Cool. So for me, my biggest win for it, and I think it's just a godsend, is the way they've sorted the patrol ranges out on the 75. For those who haven't seen the video that we've done and posted out there, the set, and if you approach them in a certain way, the other ships don't do anything to you. So, and if you're a proper pirate and you go to somebody else's sector, you only have to kill the middle bit and get out, and let the scavengers clean the rest up. But I was going to just do one live. Guys, is there anything else you want to go through before I start to screen share?
No, carry on.
Cool, I better not share the Halo Noob song. Well, that's the ending for the show. Right, load this up. So general concern, I mean, I've not hit anything but 75, so this is pretty much the limitation of what I can share, because just literally done, I think, 29 of them, 30 of them. I think, obviously, there's other methods out there. If we look at chat, we've got a few of the guys saying that they're also in 43s, but we'll come on to it. So let me just go full. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yeah.
Cool. I better take that off because I'm not gonna extend the crew just for. God, I'm not gonna extend the crew just for one hit. Right. So basically, I'll even share the build because I know a lot of people have been saying that they've been hitting Grim Harlocks. Using them, it's still taking 2 to 3 fleets. So this was my old baser, but I've now just refitted it for raids, basically. Full of evade armor, speed system, reflective coating, ballistic and missile alloys, and evade upgrade on the Grim, giving it a really good evade percentage, 74, which means, you know, it's going to avoid a lot of the stuff. There's no bullseye in Drax or Reavers, thank God. And then there's the Harlock setup. So seven UAVs with a mix of armors and reflective. So I'm running out of crews. Now the hard part of finding one. Right. Is anyone else using? Oh, that's handy. That for Sudslow. So the trick is when you come into them, really, the is killing the little ships before that one with the rockets on it comes down and runs you over. So the first thing you got to do is turn, if it ever engages. Here we go. Hey. So first thing we do when we load it is turn around. So you've got 48 seconds, so you can see the big ships in there. So I'm going to select under here, and I want my Grim just in front to take the damage, and then off we go. And we're going to run as soon as the ships group. So the Grim's there to take the damage, and we're off. Let's get out of here. We don't want to be hit by those morts because they're the things that are going to really hurt us. Right, as you go in, target change your ships because your UAVs are going to finish off anything else that comes. Already on that one. And up to that bad boy because it's overloading. So there we go. Right, that's your entry clear. If you notice, we've still only got one ship coming down. The rest are still stationary. So I'm going to freeze the Grim and let that take the damage again. Don't want the Harlocks damaged. They're going to do the business in a minute. So we stunned it. Let's kill it. And turn around. Okay. So you can see now that's not moving. They're not moving. That's not moving. The only thing that's moving is what's coming through. So we've got the big ship as always. It always does this. And these two. It's going to have to do those ships when it was streaming. Nice. So once again, just going to set the Grim out to overload and get the Harlocks doing the damage, really. Let's get them to not take the hits there. Right. That's stunned. Take that one out and bring the Grim back. Let's get that on there. Let's not worry about the mothership yet. Let's get a stun drone. There we go. Finish that one up. Still keep moving. Right, that's enough for that. And basically now it's just time to kill the mothership. So keep your Grim moving because it's going to still fire morts. So we want to try and avoid taking the damage off the Harlocks. As you can see, I've taken too long, so it's respawned 2 more ships. Don't worry about that. Just keep focusing on the others on the mothership. And there we go. Right, it's going to die now. So it's at this point you've got 1 or 2 options. Now, it's dead. I've taken a bit more damage than I normally would, but I normally have grease on. And it's at this point you can go and mop up the rest, or you can just simply click retreat and job's done. And let the scavengers in the sector clear the rest up. And that's basically how I've been doing my raid.
The way I've been doing it is doing the elite in this more or less the same tactic, just blitzing the base in the middle, let my fleet die because you're never going to get past all the hulls, and just abort the mission. It's 2 million, 2.5 million for 20 coins.
Yeah, I think that's what you've been doing as well, hasn't it, Rick?
Yeah, actually, I've been doing the elite, and I take my hellhounds. I think I posted a video out there that a lot of people were chuckling at. I found a way to do it with 17 coins, but I just blitzed the base, the turrets, and in 3 minutes flat, I got 2.39 million points in like 3 minutes. So it's like super fast.
Another little tip: one of my members was zombieing his little Nash with a Hurricane Renaissance battery. And he was just doing the Siege 1, killing everything in that, aborting the Siege campaign and going back in again.
I mean,
it's up to 10 million for the cost of nothing.
That's similar to what I've done, Dave. So my tactic this raid, I've got my Spectres that I run to take out the sonar ships, like we were talking about earlier. And in the thermal ships, I'm running 2 Harlocks and 2 Mastodons. So I was sending the Harlocks, split them all up, and then it takes out like a ship and a half at a time. So obviously I don't coin, so I've done mine for free.
He wasn't even doing that. He was just taking the whole lot out with 2 little Nash and a Hurricane with a Renaissance battery. They couldn't catch him.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, the Siege.
Was it Renaissance or was it the Wake module?
Renaissance battery, the one that picks up the speed for the Nash.
Alright.
They couldn't catch him.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I mean, also taking advantage of the actual co-op feature in the Siege as well.
That's funny that you mentioned that. I was just going to mention, it's from my understanding that Siege has the co-op, but Elite does not. And if you're feeling overwhelmed that you don't have fleets that can handle certain stuff, because you're set up for fleet versus fleet, that kind of thing, or you have nothing but base killers, obviously you might want to team up with your alliance or whatever to see who can give you a hand to help you out. It's definitely well worth it.
Well, me and Payne actually made a video of like doing the Siege together, and we was using Mastodons, and we basically between the ships that we had made up kind of like one big fleet, so everything hits at once. So obviously I'd have my Frosty for the field. He'd have his decoys and that to pull the ships towards us. Set our Mastodons behind, all the decoys, and I'd just follow him with the Frosty. And he'd pull it with his decoy down to our Mastodons, kind of thing, and we'll split the damage in half. I mean, some of the repairs we was getting was like 1-2 coin.
I think as well, one of the things I've seen so many people doing, and it's just like, what are you doing it for? Is if you're going at ships with throwers on, the worst thing you can do is be groups up. You've got to, like Scotty said, you've got to get a decoy out there because the splash will hit every single ship and give you more repairs. And sounds really obvious, and most people know it, but you can still send a decoy out and save yourself a lot of repairs, a lot of damage. I mean, I was doing that. I did 50 million. Oh, I was using Grease Monkeys. I used 2 extensions of Grease Monkeys, and I did the whole thing for about just over 200 coins with the extension. In the end, and I didn't hit anything bar 75.
Yeah, I think when me and Payne done it, because I jumped into Payne's campaign when we was doing it, I think he done the whole siege campaign for about 10 coins or something like that between us. And obviously at the end of that he gets 2 mil without fail.
Yeah.
Just while we're on the subject, I know the BP professor was saying that on here, because he's got a smaller account, and on that smaller account, the strike campaign he could do with instant battle barges again. So for the lower players out there watching, the strike campaign is again doable with strike missile battle barges. The whole thing, I think he said 700k for the strike, I think. So that's a 1.2 mil total, I think he said he got. So yeah.
So I think, guys, that's it for me. Really, my inputs. I've not really done anything else. Rig Pig, have you done anything differently?
Sorry, I missed the question there, Panda. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, that's all I really know, because I was just blasting 75s. Have you done anything different?
Yeah, when I posted that vid out there, it was like the first hour of the raid. Plus, I was drinking heavily, and once I sobered up, I've been getting a lot more done with less with my atlases. Like you said, to avoid that magmas from those ships going around. What I was doing was I was spreading them out in a line and then just running away from them while I was shooting at them with 5 ships. Their ship would only end up hitting 1, so I was only losing 1 out of 5, which obviously was cheaper. Another trick that I do too is once you're at the start of that base, if there was no ships around you and you were curious to where they were, you could see that you're at the opening of the base. So what I would do is I'd quickly scroll up to the other opening of the base at the top of the screen and just see where they're at, and then you can quickly tell which one's going to come into you first. Are you going to fall into a trap? Because if you are, then you want to move quickly and reposition.
Yeah, agreed. Scotty?
I know a lot of people have done this, but Reapers as well. Obviously, you can be obviously sub the non-sonar ships in the siege, and obviously you can reap them as well. So if you've got someone in your alliance that's got them built, see if he's got some spare time to help you out and just reaper out the sonar ships and just leave you with the thermal ones. And that you can do that for no damage if he drives right.
I was curious. I'm just going to ask now. I know people have been saying that they can reaper out the sonar ships, but not the thermal ones. Why can't the Reaper take out the thermal with the deluge? Because doesn't it outrange it, or does it
I think
not?
the thermal's 100.
Yes.
Okay.
It's 100. It's just over 100, mate. I found out the hard way.
Yeah.
That sounds a hell of a lot better.
Rick?
I thought that was just me then.
No.
Yeah, he just froze.
Look, he's frozen. That's kind of cool.
Creepy.
Rick, if you don't reply, you've got to give me 1,000 coins. Done. Rick, do you like Snooky or Lady J?
Don't reply.
If you don't reply, you like men. Brilliant. Love it. Okay, moving on.
Rob has woken up, by the way. He's obviously just taken a while to get on.
Yeah, he said he'd like to apologise to the community and Lady J, his loving, doting friend. Okay. So, guys, I just looked at Freebirds in chat, and he said that strike 1 to 4 subs and number 5 Frosty. Anyone tried that on the panel?
What? Sorry, was that Panda? I lagged a little bit. What was that?
It is lagging. I said, so Freebird in chat said he used subs for 1 to 4 and then the Frosty for 5. Has anyone seen anyone doing that, or can anyone share on that?
Yeah, because carry on, Tyler.
No, go on, Sky.
Yeah, because the Siege 1 to 4 is all ships that are stationary until you put them, and the 5 is actually a base. It's actually like a mini Forsaken base. So obviously they got the apocalypse mortars in there. So the frost and the napalm, so the frosties for that.
And what stubs are you using on it? Sorry to sound stupid, but I've not done anything on that.
I was using the mastodons again for that one, and I was using the frosty. Just basically what I was doing is I'd have the two decoys. So I'd send my frosty and my mastodons one way, and I was leaving one decoy behind going the other direction, and it splits the fire across. It splits the fire across the fleet, so it will fire at the different directions, minimise your damage.
Cool. Right, guys. Anyone else
Look what's joined us!
What?
Look what's joined us!
We've got a hobbit. Wow, guys, we've got a special guest on the show tonight. It's Frodo from Lord of the Rings. Frodo, I believe you like New Zealand as well.
You can't. I've just walked
Where
up
it's
on
filmed.
I like the way he took the time to put on his overlay though. Look, that's dedication in it. He's got his train overlay on there.
That comes on automatic now, so I'm cool with that.
Precious is New Zealand.
Need your
Someone got a
alarm.
link for
Need your
that
alarm
fucking
automatic.
YouTube thing. I need a link.
Why? We're not letting you in the chat. We blocked you.
What?
Cool. Guys, is there any other tips or anything for the raid? Because I'd want to talk a bit more about the prizes.
Scotty talked about what we did earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate, you've missed all that.
Right,
Yeah.
my job's done then. Go back to bed. I go back to bed.
No, Scotty, did you have a video to share?
Yeah, I was actually just about to post that in the chat for anyone who wants to go watch it.
Cool. Post the video on the page. You just want to finish off with what it is, and then we'll move on to the prizes and have a discussion. Now we've seen some people running around with the fleets. Rig.
Yeah, I've just started building a shell here. I'm kind of waiting on a build. Earth strongly suggested whatever that I should refrain from my drunken stupor, like what I usually do, wake up with a build and cry my heart out the following day. So I actually listened to somebody once for a change.
They're going to put your name down for some overtime at work.
But I am having a drink now, and I still don't have. I have an idea from him. I had a couple from some members from in my group, and I've seen some of the videos being put out there. Santana's one of them. Navy threw out a couple of hits there today, whatever, and that new weapon, new weapon there is just crazy, man.
Yeah, he smashed my base with the new weapon today.
Yeah.
That new weapon's interesting. So I've seen it on the Crusader. So Darkness has coined a fleet of them, and they just don't seem to hold up. But putting it on Hounds, I'm a bit like, oh shit, here we go again. Is it a new one to stop? Because I've just managed to stop Hellhounds from flattening me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've looked at them. Obviously, I was getting a bit excited because I thought, oh, I might actually get a new ship this raid. So the Crusader, I think in terms of what it can do, I mean, you're looking at 40% plus ballistic range, which is quite a lot, really. It puts it up in like the range of launchers and that. I think what it's missing at the minute, I know the Arbalest people are sort of, oh yeah, it's good for melting walls, but I know in BP Prof's analysis, I think he said that, or I looked through it briefly, I might be wrong, but I think he said that the bypass chain gun was better versus ships, as a higher DPS per ton versus ships. So I think really that I reckon next month, I'm going to throw it out there now, my prediction next month, I reckon we'll see a limited Crusader with a new ballistic weapon that is going to put it up into the top game. Because I agree with you at Panda at admit, I don't think it's up there with like the Hellhound is and ships like that. But I think if they bring out a massive ballistic weapon, then it will be. I don't think the Arbalest has quite cut that. I think it's a bit like when they brought out the Achilles, and it was a bit shit, and then they brought out the Siege Z, and obviously it changed the game completely. So yeah.
What's the range on the weapon? What's the range on the weapon?
Yeah, this is where I was about to go. So I think it'd be worth playing that hit on your base, Dave. And I think then we could do a bit of base defense advice on this, because not picking on you, by the way, mate. The range looks like it's going to play into a favour, just like the throwers and the
Because obviously on that new ship it gets extra ballistic range, you see, so...
But it doesn't on the Hounds, which is looking why.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I think on the new ship with Cannon System 3 you get 88.5, and with hardened barrels you get 95. I looked at that earlier.
And then you can put the new special on it. It gets to is it a bit 10% more, or is that max out 10?
What one? The one that came up in the mission? I can't remember what it's called now. It's like
Yeah.
50% range. Yeah, so the 50% range will get it up to.
Right, so let's just have a look. So, do you want Tito? Or do you just want to put it on David's screen? So this is the hit from the Navy rig. But if you look, right, so my point here is he doesn't kill the guard.
My
Andrew,
guard
if you
goes
just
nuts.
talk for it, we're not going to see it. Let Dave talk for it.
My guard just goes nuts. It's not in his position it's supposed to be. And he doesn't touch the guard until he actually gets around the back of the guard.
So Wendigo hurts. What have you got on
Yeah.
the Harlock?
Just the Hornets.
Okay.
Um,
It's taking a lot of
Wow.
damage.
You can see him just like punch right through that wall.
it just
But-
shoots. If you look at where the back serve, he just punches straight across to the back serve.
Can you zoom in now on the Grim? I want to see how much damage it hits per shot on the Grim.
No, because it's recorded
Ah,
video.
yeah. Okay. I mean, look, it's punching the Grim out. He's going straight for the buildings. He's not hitting the ships.
Nope.
I'll see what it does with the ships or if it dies.
Yeah, he just hammered that outpost.
It's like 2 or 3 volleys and the outpost was dead.
See, I think that's more... I mean, the damage is obviously nice on the actual... the weapon, but... No, that's more... I think that's just more the actual hull itself than the weapon winning it.
Let me share. Hang on. Let me load my game up. So this is, and Dave, that's a good video. But what it does is it shows where Hounds are strong in bases like that because they can just run down the long channel, and that's how mine used to be. I'm not saying my base is brilliant, but I'm managing to stop Hounds, and I think that the key is making them go over your guard before they get to the outpost.
Yeah.
Let me just get on and I'll share. Let me get rid of. Hang on. Right.
No, if I'm not mistaken, that particular weapon there, if you stay focused to a certain target, it creates more damage.
Yeah, Rob, we'll see that in a minute. The Crusaders.
I think that's just the Crusader what does that, isn't it? Not the
Okay.
weapon.
Right, Tito, can you just focus on mine? I'm just going to share this. So this is kind of, and not saying this is perfect, but let's just go. So you see the base difference here first. They have to come here before they can get anywhere near the OP. Your guard's in here, and they have to get across your guard, and you'll see in a minute kind of how I played it. It's not perfect, but let's show this one because because he took ages. Yeah, show this one because I think he had a ledge crew on. And my point.
I see Bez hit you with his as well.
Yeah, I can show you Vader's if you want. Vader's hit me. Murderface hit me. Yeah, he's got the demo on. So this is a good one. So you can see where the guard is there. And again, my patrol range went funny because he came in at a different angle. But I think if you think on a Hellhound, he's not going to hit. I'm not controlling, by the way. It's all patrol range. It's just being annoying. But if you look, the ranges are set to do all the damage here. Actually, that should be further over here. It's just because he's coming at the top. But
So they get pounded all the way around the corner.
yeah.
All the way around the bend.
And you've got 2 VMs, so you can't stop either. But the real pain, I'll show you the trick. You see these little bad boys on every single ship? Depth charges. 2 there, 1 on that one, 1 on that one, 1 on that one, and the hounds will go over them. And that's what I think. Again, with the fleets where they've put the new gun on, they still got the same problem as Mort fleets. You still got the range issue, so unless you stop and turn in this corner here, you're going to get pounded by the VMs. But the key is to block off the runs for a hound fleet. If you, so here he goes. So he doesn't take much damage right now. You just let him run.
See, the problem in my base is there's an open spot by the dock, and I need to change my base design. Otherwise, you're just sitting by the dock and taking out my OP from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously they have to run. Obviously, you always have to run through the fleet to get to the outpost.
Well, they'll try and sit here, but it's the worst move they can do, as you're about to find out.
Because of the cryo, right? Yeah, you'll see him. His health just disappear here.
Yeah, because he's just overloaded my Wrath with depth charges on it.
Yeah.
And obviously the playbacks.
Got a salve off, and that was it.
Yeah. So he gets all the guns as always, but doesn't get in, and that's a Helm fleet dying. You know, Bez hit me and died. You've got Hoof-Hearted. You've got, I mean, that guy F off prep me. You've got. My point is, I can be beaten, but don't let hounds get into a spot in your base where they can use the speed and just sit and take your outpost. Because what they were doing was I had this open here, and they just run up there, run past, and just sit there and just, kill me. Now force them round.
My mate's base has got a Golly, 2 Protos, and a Wrath, and none of the hits 55, 58 level fleets have got into his base.
Yeah.
Yeah, that proto works really nice. I mean, I dropped a proto mast in my base, and it helps so much. It's insane against the hellhounds.
I think
them cryo missiles help a lot, and I've put the Z's and buzzards.
It slows them down though as well, which is the key. You need to slow them down and.
Exactly. I had to do the same thing. I reluctantly pulled my enforcers and paired them up with my Goliaths in my inventory and replaced them with 2 proto masses, and I've been relying on that cryo missile there to slow things down a little bit, just in time when they get around to like 3 or 4 Serbs, or pardon me, gargoyles.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got around to it yet, but I'm doing what a similar thing to what Panda's done. Like, I want to put the RAF in there, so they have to hit the RAF and my Atlas at the same time, so it gets the overload for the Mastodons that's sitting at the back.
Yep. One thing I was really careful about, I seen it hitting. I can't remember exactly who it was. They placed the RAF in a certain area where there was nothing around it. Absolutely nothing. So when you come in with your Morts, you have no choice but to trigger that thing to hit it. Bing, 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 bing. Next thing you know, you're taking all this damage while you're trying to rush by it.
Yep. And the thing is as well, Rig, that's spot on. If you look in my base then, my entire guard was out of range unless they stopped and hugged the land. You could kill my guard with morts, but you have to run up the land. Throwers obviously can't, and that's why there's a heavy heat of Serbs. But I want them, once they kill the Serbs, there was nothing else by the RAF to hit. And they'll do that in one volley, which is the plan. By the time they've pinched it, it's got Shielded Electronics 3 on it, comes back alive, it's still overloading. You sat right on top of it by that point. It'll alpha overload, and boom, dead.
So since David was nice enough to show us that hit from Navy there, seeing how that fleet was just going straight for buildings and turrets and stuff, it'll be interesting to see what happens with a design such as yours there, where you have to get by all of that, ignoring the guard, right?
See, personally, sorry, carry on.
Go on, Sky.
See, I mean, I've seen someone in Payne's Alliance that is in now, Prince. He's actually got the Crusaders built with a new weapon on, and he's been using these for Fleet v Fleet. And for Fleet v Fleet, it works awesome for that ship.
They work good for like drag bases and little things like that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I was then going to come in and say, we're obviously all thinking the same thing here. The Crusader, just watching that video of Navy's hit there, really, does the Crusader have the armor to get past bases the way they are now? I mean, I think you said it, Panda, that
And that fleet Swag had on his the video was well overweight.
yeah, I just don't think that you can get I mean, I was looking at Crusader builds earlier. I think mostly it's going to be for PvE and FBF.
And
I don't think it can really make it for.
Well, this guy didn't even damage
the
my guard
base.
at all. He had 5 ships, which I don't understand how you could fit 5 with proper armor.
How many cannons on it?
I don't know, we'll have a look. See how
It's a really heavy ship as well, because Dark's built one. He's got 4 of them, and I was playing around in the shipyard, and it's really difficult to.
Can you see the screenshot?
Yeah, I was doing the
Yeah.
same thing, Panda. I think you can get 3 arbalests on with D5E.
They've
cool.
got
My mate's put them on the SCX, and he's actually doing a 75 for 30 minutes. A 47 for 30 minutes damage in a raid.
See, look at the damage he took already.
Just a
Yeah, they can't. They can't hold damage. That's the problem, and
20%, 25%.
it's not just against one type. I've seen enforcers, UAVs, they get chewed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've just
you never
got
got to
the
the window.
war armor on them.
The turrets alone are
I know.
fucking him up.
And also, they ain't got no anti-cryo field like what the Howland's got.
Yeah,
Nah,
you see
yeah.
when the Wendigo starts firing, he goes really slow.
Keep talking, Payne, so we can see it.
What?
Keep talking through the video.
Why?
He's dead now.
Yeah. I was gonna say, isn't that guy's profile pic that full retard picture?
There you
He's a
go.
full retard.
Rig, there you go. Prime example. Look, he can't hit the guard because of the range.
And, that,
He's
and that's on
way too slow to get around that bend.
and that's actually on the. You would have to get to that little nook there to hit the guard, and
Well, he wouldn't be able
that's
to fire till he got to about here. He would only be able to fire at the Viper, and then he'd start to hit that Harlock from like this part.
To be fair though, I think most ships would struggle to reach that, wouldn't they? I mean, the range
it's
with
fine.
HP3 is 95, which is the same as the Scarab. So it's not short. It's just on the Crusader it can work. I mean, what Dave was saying about using it on the SCX, that would obviously work as well because they've got the same range boost. I think it's going to be. I don't think it can hold its own in bases. Not the way it is at the minute. It needs a better lead ship or something, or a new weapon that can push it along. At the minute, it's just not going to hold.
Because you get the 10% boost as well. Payne, just a piece of advice. I think you got the wrong side of your base shut off, bud. Make them run over your guard and put some depth charges on it. That's what I'd do. And close the other side off.
Yeah, I mean the only reason I shut that side off is for the patrol.
Yeah, but you can do that and get it into range, just like mine. I've done the same. We'll talk after it, but just one thing to remember. So back to Scotty's point, Scotty, the Wrath, actually, it depends. If you've got 2 enforcers in your base, like me, I'm actually going to put an unshackled hound in as my overload ship.
yeah.
Because it gives you 50% radioactive defense and reload
Yeah.
as well.
See, that's the reason I'm putting the Wrath in because I'm obviously having the
Damn you.
Atlas and the Mastodon.
I'm gonna have to go for the second shackled hound now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think-
I was going to say, should we talk about that? And I mean, I saw someone say earlier that can we get 5 unshackled hellhounds when they're flagship only? I think one of the big things to remember with this ship is that it's got the same boost as the Highlander, basically, hasn't it? With the plus 50% radioactive defense.
It's like a
The
Grimland.
amount of fleets people shove that in the back of in their guard when they're hitting a base. I mean, that hit that we saw from Navy, he had a Highlander wandering around the back. These are sort of hulls that you build blank and then use them to give you the boost, aren't they? So if you've got 5, that just means you've got a few more fleets that you can use it in. And obviously they take a while to repair because they've got like 7,000 base armor, so you can use more than one at a time, obviously.
One thing I liked interesting about the actual prizes is that combustion trigger. And one of
Yeah.
our guys mentioned it. If you, because you can only put it on land-based, on a water-based buildings, so the oil rigs. If you put them at the certain entrances, if you put them at the start of your channel, they have to hit them as soon as they come in. So, before the battle even starts, they would have hit them and took damage if you place them correctly.
Yeah, I think
No,
that would happen on a base like mine, I think, where I've got no turrets until the end. Sorry, Rick.
no, that's fine. That's actually a really good point that you brought up. Watching navies hit and with the prizes that they have out here, it's making me think about redesigning my base. And I just did that last month. Damn it!
Yeah, I think, and I'm not going to take credit for my base. It was two of the guys in Alliance, J Boy, who's not on because he's got computer issues, and Zilla. And I think that Rob's got pizza, big gay. It's really good to sit there and work it out. And actually, I'm using Piranha drones. If you've won the first Piranha drones, sorry, Piranha depth charges, if you won the depth charges from the first tournament, they're actually even better.
Yeah, the cryonic ones they're called, aren't they? Cryonic depth charge.
They're the ones, they're half the weight and more range. So you've got it. That's what I would be using. But definitely, if you've got two enforcers in your base, the Unshackled Hellhound is definitely a must as your flagship because it's a Highlander and a Grim Wrath in one. It's a great defense asset. Like Tyler says, if you've got the time to get more, get as many because you can just build a blank hull and use it in anything you want. And basically, with engines and a thud on, it's 3 tons. So you can fit it into lots of fleets. So I know everyone's going, why 5? But I'm going to get a couple. At least 3.
I couldn't agree more. There's for example, Vipers there, the subkillers I built way back I only got 3, should have got more. And whenever I see limited now, to me that spells regret if you don't try and get all of them.
I did the same with Harlocks the first time they come out. I didn't get them, and then
Go on, mate.
yeah, I did.
Oh.
I did.
Sorry, Scotty.
I did the same with Harlocks when they first came out. I didn't get them, and then obviously they was the base and fleet to have for a couple of months.
Yeah, exactly. I had before I joined BOPB, I was getting smashed by that group, and that's what was making my base was Harlocks, and totally regretted not getting that limited haul until the next time it was offered.
Yeah, I think so. I can see they've snuck the Kodiak in there at 7.5 million points. Thoughts on that? Because I know a few of the guys in sector I'm in are going, yeah, I'm going to get the Kodiak, but would you graft it out for the Crusader and think actually it's going to be more beneficial in the long run? Because for me it's crap since they brought the Wendigo out, but I suppose we're at a different level.
Yeah.
Waking was used as the flagship, the RAF if you got it with the Kodiaks.
Even if you don't, I mean, the Kodiak thieves that we saw when they came out were ripping apart Drac bases on auto and stuff, weren't they? I mean, the Kodiaks by no means. If I didn't have my Mastodons, then I'd be getting the Kodiak this raid without doubt, because the missiles, you can say against bases, and you're probably right, but against the other aspects in the game, missiles are still the D55Z still holding its own against Drac bases and that sort of thing in raids as well, obviously. So
Tio, sorry, go on, mate.
No, that's all right. I was just say yeah. So I think that's quite cheap, really, for the Kodiak at 7.5. And I think the Crusader, I don't think it's going to be like the Hellhound was. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it will be that good.
Cool.
In the long run.
Tio, you here still? Do you want to just come in and explain that? Because it looks like so you're saying that you need 4 Hellhounds to get the Wrath effect with the shackle, yeah?
You need 4 ships to get the extra Alpha strike on the shackled Hellhound.
But it still overloads.
It still overloads, but you won't get the Alpha strike, I believe.
Cool. So for me, it's still a better option because the Alpha Strike.
It's only a limited range on the Alpha Strike.
Yeah,
It's like 22,000 building damage, though, isn't it? I think that's quite a lot. But like you say, it's got a field of 22, I think. So that's barely more than a depth charge, and that's only gonna hurt if it's right in front of it. If not, then
The thing that impressed me the most about this Unshackled Hellhound here was when you pull up the details of the fleet, it has a really large scroll bar. You start reading and reading and reading and reading, and then you scroll down, and then you keep reading and reading and reading, and it just goes on and on and on and on. Finally, after about 2 minutes of reading and trying to make sense of it all, I finally bottomed out on a scroll bar.
I think so. If I don't know whether anyone else has got a Wrath in the base, but considering you're supposed to get an Alpha Overload every 4,500 damage, mine doesn't seem to do that in my base. But I don't know about anybody else's. What kills them is the Overload because they're driving over you. So that will work differently. And you're right. And thanks for those in chat for correcting me on that. But I don't think you'll need the Alpha in your base. I think you just need the Overload. I think the reload's more important for me.
Yeah, I agree with the Overload completely.
this
And it works a lot better than the because I was looking between putting like the Wrath or the Grim, but like the resistance is different. Is like between the two. Like I'd rather have the Wrath.
I was going to ask the panel there what their thoughts were on this raid. This raid, we already talked about whether it was easier, harder, that kind of thing, whatever. Actually, I noticed some leg issues, that kind of stuff, hard attacking or getting into battle at the start of it. After that, it seemed like it was all cleaned up. This is probably one of the better raids that, since the last 4 or 5.
I've had some control issues in some of when I've gone into a couple of the elites. I'm clicking and it's not moving pretty much straight away, and I'm walking into serves and stuff because of it.
Well, what I've been finding is when you click on a ship, a couple of your ships actually go off towards that ship, and the other two split off on the normal path. That's what I've been finding.
Also, when I'm trying to help somebody in co-op, while you're clicking like mad trying to get into their battle, one thing that I've done on previous raids that I found out still works on this raid is I would view the battle. As soon as it loaded, go back to the map, leave, and then try attacking on the tower. And usually my fleet would light up after that.
that's good.
It's the fifth overload. 5 overloads trigger an Alpha Strike weapon that damages and stuns nearby targets.
Sorry, Dave.
It says here, 5 overloads trigger an Alpha Strike weapons that damages and stuns nearby targets.
So it's on the 5th one that you actually get the Alpha.
Yes.
I think one thing that has made this raid better, I don't know what you guys think, maybe it's just me because of where I'm playing, but making the Reavers stay still at the start, I don't care whether it's due to their defensive positioning or whatever, that makes the world of difference when you're hitting them, because for me, if I'm walking in and I know I'm going to die within about 20 seconds, I'm not going to go back and hit it again. If I can go in and pick what I'm going to do and strategically sort of move around a little bit and feel like I'm doing a bit better, then I'm more likely to sort of...
It adds a bit more skill to it as well, a bit more,
Yeah,
add a rest of the skill. You can actually use tactics in it. You can't, it's not just throw your fleets at it.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot better. So, I mean, I think Kicks, in fairness to them, have done an alright job on this raid. They said they were going to make it a bit easier and that the last couple have been too hard. For me, you make the specs usable, but not usable for everyone, so you've got to think about it. That works well. You make the ships sit still. That works well. They've made one target where you've got to take damage. The rest of the first 4 have done with no damage, or no repair. So for me, I think they've done pretty well on this raid. Really, I mean, at least they've given the little ones a chance. Do you know what I mean?
Well, like you said, using zombie. I mean, use obviously zombie a lot of your stuff. So making it useful so you can actually do the zombieing if you need to. Because you couldn't,
Right,
you couldn't zombie the last two.
Nah, you'd get killed in seconds with torrents, retargeting, and whatever. It never really worked.
and
So yeah.
before I lost connection there too, I was commenting on read how some of the ships there would pick up on the Reapers because they had 100 or 100 plus. That was a lot better move than nerfing everyone's ships. I have to say that too. Thanks.
I just like the way they've stopped the patrol, so as soon as you go forward to do something tactical, the whole friggin' every ship in the map comes at you, like in the elites last time, and it's just like every ship's running over your head, and you're just dead. Like, I think now they've stopped them, and you have to trigger the patrols. It's very tactical. Whether they've done that to the extent they wanted to or not, we'll see next raid when we check a 75 out.
But not only that, I mean, I've noticed on a lot of them, I mean, even the way you actually spawn into the actual battle, it's a better position than everything being around you. You get your spawns from space.
Especially in the elite, just slam me right in the middle.
I tell you what they have done though, which was a bit sneaky. You can't zombie anything in the 5th siege or the last elite because when you come in, all they've done is there's one little javelin, or I think there's two, and they just fire one shot, and obviously if you're zombieing, that kills your whole fleet. So they've been a bit clever about the way they've done it, really, but I don't think they've gone too OTT with that. I think it's doable, which is the most important thing, really. You want it to be doable for all levels, and I think this one is. So yeah.
Perfect. All right, gang. Well, is there anything else that anyone on the panel would like to raise, discuss? We've asked to check the chat one last time. I think it's John Smith saying 56% of aid needs some advice. Okay, that makes no sense. John, do you want to elaborate on that if you can? Miranda's in there bragging about a Harlock fleet being better, so we'll bypass that. Rainer, you noob. Snowman's trying to chat up Jess. There's nothing new in that chat. That doesn't change week on week.
That's just Snowman. He chats with everybody. He tries to.
With regards to the evade armor, go into your retrofit lab and start retrofitting that armor.
Yeah, I think, or look at some of the advanced specials that you can get, because like people forget about guidance scramble and it's just purely evade after for raids or Drax. Then that's the biggest.
And also that video that me and Payne done, we won't let us post it in the chat, but it is actually on the Alliance group page. If you want to go check that out to do the siege set, it's a little bit cheaper with 2 people.
Actually, now that you mention that, I'd like to thank you guys for doing that too, whatever, because Tyler mentioned about if he were to attack something and would kill him in 2 seconds, he wouldn't go back. Unfortunately, I don't do smart things like that. I keep going at things to keep spending more and more. So when I seen those videos put out there from Santana giving me ideas about builds, and then I seen a couple videos that were put out on doing the 75s, Panda was one. Right away I was like, that just looks so damn easy. So just want to say thanks to everybody for putting those out there, and right away to try and make things easier for everybody else, because I noticed that some of those videos were put out like within the first 8 hours of the raid.
Yeah, no worries. And I think the thing is, and this is the community show, and we'll try and get things out there to help us. So Raina beat me to it by 4 minutes, and she's not stopped bragging about it since again. But yeah, it's good. So no, cool. So guys, anything from the panel?
Yeah, did anyone else get? I've just received these like mystery oranges, but don't know where from.
Mystery oranges.
Yeah, there's a whole fruit basket.
I thought those were beans.
No one's left a tag.
No fruit baskets, guys.
I thought they were beads.
I've just got a single apple. I didn't get a basket or anything.
He said Morris from the last show, and he had no top on. That's what it is.
Cool. So, last question from chat is for you, Rig Pig. Are you going to unwrap the bacon? I think they want a strip show, Rig.
No, sorry, I can't.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight. Just like to say a quick word to Lady Jane's Food Channel for being our sponsor. It's been great. Go check it out. And anyone else who wants the XX version of the crib is welcome to go to Raina's Hangout, where there'll be an angry snowman and lots of cool, crazy people doing an after party for the crib show. And yeah, Rob will be hosting Blind Date. Perfect. So, and stay tuned, guys. We've got a wedding special coming up at the Alliance Crib Show. Rob is going to propose to a certain special lady. Stay tuned. Thank you, everyone. Cheers now.
You're a
Right.
clown.